Hello everyone and welcome to this newest edition of Adeptus Podcastus. This is Remleiz from 40k Theories alongside Michael from Tactica Imperialis and EgoQueenAlexis. Now, firstly, how is everyone doing this week?
I died.
You died. Again.
Well, somebody locked me in a small fucking room, and there's this weird machine guy trying to get me out. I don't even know what's happening anymore.
I've just been doing revision because I'm at home for the Easter holidays, and not doing as much as I should.
Fair enough.
I'm actually hoping, you guys understood that reference.
Oh, I understood it.
Sorry.
No, that's perfect. You're not included yet.
Don't be mean.
No.
Anyway.
He's got to make it to us in his character series.
Is this my dig at, like, where was my invitation for Remleiz?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, moving on.
Yes. So firstly, in the news this week, details about the new Thunderhawk gunship model have been revealed.
Really?
It's not plastic.
What?
Yeah, it's not plastic.
We literally just did a what's in the news and you didn't mention this.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I did mention it. You guys just ignore me and talked over about saying that was brought back to the Weekender. But anyway, it's still resin and not plastic, so Spiky Bits, you're fucking wrong there. There's a few minor changes, like they've redesigned it to be closer to the Storm Talon gunship and stuff like that.
The Raven's the mid-sized one, the Talon's the little one.
Oh, Storm Raven then, whichever. But that's one of the main things this week as well. And there's also things in regards to Dawn of War 3. There's a lot of rumours that the fourth race going to be included is actually going to be the Necrons, I found out as well.
Oh my god, please be Trollzine. Please be Trollzine.
Apparently, someone looked at the new video that the developer put out for the Cage map, and there's a lot of Necron-styled artifacts on the map, which has a lot of hinting to go for as well, considering the developer also mentioned, there's a lot of living metal.
That's actually pretty cool. Like, Necrons in the opening of the game is pretty neat, because the Necrons have been at the forefront of bad fluff lately. And that's because of Matt Ward, obviously, but overall, the Gathering Storm series made me get a newfound respect for at least Trollzine.
Yeah.
I've never really had a problem with the Necrons. I kind of like the whole Silent King and the overthrowing the Catan thing a little bit more than, they're just slaves to the Catan. I like that they've got more personality now.
Same.
But to be fair, that was Ward's doing. The 5th edition Codex, when that was made canon, was his doing, as far as I'm aware.
I know, but everybody, whenever you bring up Necron fluff, all they talk about is the stupid love story between the Necrons and the Blood Angels.
And Tomb Kings in space.
Can I actually rant about that just really, really quickly? Like, just 5 minutes.
Go ahead.
As you must.
Okay, I want to explain that story really quickly. The Blood Angels and the Necrons, they both brought basically their best of the best. And they started taking heavy casualties on both sides due to each other having good tactics to use against each other. And then out of nowhere, the freaking Tyranids showed up. Now, if you guys don't know anything, if a hive ship shows up in orbit, that planet is doomed. Like,
pretty much.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's going to be destroyed.
Violos would like a word with you.
Well, but you know what? I'm just over.
9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10, yes.
Yeah, I'm just over exaggerating for this. But they had to put up a truce because the enemy of my enemy gets stabbed in the face next. Classic Space Marines. We'll work with you because there's a common foe, but we hate you.
Yeah, we've seen that before.
Yes, especially when they've worked with Chaos.
And we saw it with the Tau at Malbade as well.
We've also seen it in the entirety of the Gathering Storm series. But
yes,
they took so many grievous losses that at the end of the battle, and the Tyranids basically obliterated this rock that they were on, that the strategic value of that planet was also lost. So why would they want it? It wasn't that they looked at each other and went, "Hey, good fight, man. Fist bump, hug, bromance." It was they looked at the planet, they're like, everything that we wanted is destroyed. screw this place, I'm leaving. Killing these guys is not worth the loss of more of my men.
Yeah, I can see that.
Sorry, mini rant over.
You're good.
Moving on.
Indeed.
What else was in the news this week?
We had the general release of Shadow War Armageddon, which I've now, and that has come out the rulebook. I haven't got my hands on it, but I've had a look through it. It was in our local gaming store, and they've also released separate data sheets, I want a better word, for all of the factions that are not in the main rulebook. So if you are not a Guard, Orcs, and Marines player, you can get access to your data sheets pretty much
free.
Independently, yes. If you want Guard, Orcs, and Marines, you do actually have to get the rulebook. But there was a post on Warhammer Community, because Shadow War sold out in like 10 minutes, well, not like 10 minutes, but it sold out really, really fast.
7 to 13 hours, depending.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And they basically said, right, we realize this has been extremely popular, so what we're going to do is we're going to put all of the rules on one separate sale, the terrain as a separate sale. You can basically get all of the individual components, as well as if you just want to get the whole box. I don't know if they're putting all the rules out for free. I'd need to confirm. But I know that they're separating it all out again.
Oh.
I
Well,
personally think it's a great idea. Shadow War
Yep.
Armageddon is probably my favorite spin-off game that they've ever done.
It may not be a spin-off for that much longer, mind you.
Lots of people are saying
gonna
it's
be a
a prelude
main
to
game.
8th, isn't it?
Considering how quickly it sold out, the rule set in it is incredibly good, and it rewards tactical players. It's also a very small-scale game. You only need one box. Like, my kill team currently is 4 Grey Knights, and that's it.
My kill team will be about up to 10 models, including drones, and it's all Pathfinder. So you only need one box. I haven't played it myself yet, and I think we're all going to try and go next week and have a little mini campaign with it to get a proper feel for the system. But as far as I can tell,
I can tell you this. Shoot them before they get into close combat, because close combat is 2nd edition close combat, and it is a nightmare.
Yes!
I play Tau. I'm doing that anyway.
Oh my god, Harlequins were crazy powerful. Like, they were ridiculously powerful.
Well, yeah.
Like, they killed my Grey Knights like they were
edition?
nothing.
Do you even 2nd edition, bro?
In all technicality, no, I didn't.
That is why you failed.
I have tried 3rd edition and Rogue Trader, but I have not tried 2nd edition. After looking at it now and talking with my distributor about the game itself, he hinted that they're definitely going to expand it. And I asked him about... now, keep in mind, my distributor has lied to me before. Well, not lied, but... not miscommunicated. Let's go with that. I have asked him about, like, the old gangs. Will they be making an appearance? And he was like, they're definitely thinking about doing certain things involving the gang members. Because Armageddon actually has a lot of gangs on it. So,
I haven't seen much reference to them, but I'm sure it does.
It's a hive. It's a hive. Hives always have gangs.
Yeah. So they might make like an expansion of Underhive, which actually has the gang members.
Yeah, I feel like if they're going to put the gangs
a
in,
local PDF could be an addition to this game, which would be awesome.
Yeah, I feel like the gang warfare I think that will be standalone almost. Like they could almost do that as a separate. If it was video gaming, it would be like a separate DLC, the completely standalone thing.
Yeah. This is definitely going to be expanded upon, and with how quickly the games end, like my first game was 20 minutes.
Is it that fast?
It is that fast. You kill 3 guys, people bottle, and they run away. Or you kill somebody of very high strategic value, and the opponent can choose to give up the mission.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can voluntarily scoop, which is awesome. Because each and every character that you have, it affects your next game.
Yeah, if you chain them like a campaign anyway, you're not playing them standalone.
It's not meant for standalone.
If you play a campaign, so I've not had a chance to actually get a look at the rules myself yet, but if you play a campaign, are your team members able to learn individual skills and such.
Yes. You start off, often you can recruit cadets or red shirts or newbies, basically. And if they can survive 3 games on campaign, they get promoted to be a regular guy, and they unlock some new skills that they can use.
Grey Knights don't get new recruits?
Well, of course they don't, because, well, if you're not a fully qualified Grey Knight, then you're not going into combat.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just had to buy fully fledged Marines, and I had to give up points because my captain died.
Yeah, and you can also one use only recruit specialists as well. So for Tau, you get stealth suit, a fireblade, or an ethereal, which makes no sense in my head, but you do.
I always, it might be something along the lines of, for the ethereal class anyway, that there are multiple ethereals and they have their own hierarchy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The ethereal caste has its own hierarchy of
so you get one of the basic guys, and it's just this guy has to prove himself, so they send him into battle.
But the thing is, that's not what the ethereal. Why would you send someone whose death would be? Well, okay. If you're doing an infiltration mission where you're putting the most elite scouts on the line, you wouldn't risk a member of the ethereal caste because you trust them. The ethereals are there to oversee and bolster the morale of the troops. They're not going to fight. So, I think
in the same sense, you can say the same thing about a commissar, and a commissar would definitely go on one of those missions.
Yeah, but a commissar can actually handle himself in a fight.
So can ethereals.
And their death is not literally the price of failure.
The main difference between an ethereal and a commissar is that a commissar has pretty much spent his entire life as a soldier.
Yeah, an ethereal
is not.
Yeah, they're basically.
But that's like saying a rogue trader who has been rich his entire life doesn't know how to fight.
Yeah, but that's because they still have to train. The difference with the ethereals is that would be like sending. I can't even use the bloody religion as an example because the priest would go, "Oh, how do I put this?" It's like sending your top politicians into battle.
I would love to see Trump in a fight.
That aside, it would be...
Actually, wait a minute. He was in a fight. He was in a cage, a WWE fight or something like that.
Yes, he was, yeah.
That aside, it just... In my head, I would... If I were commanding a scout team, I would want an ethereal there. Too much risk.
What if he's from... Commander Farsight, and he has to prove himself to be worthy of Commander Farsight.
There is only one ethereal allowed in the Farsight enclaves, and that's Aun Shi, who taught Farsight how to fight.
They do know how to fight.
One. Aun Shi's not dead, no.
Oh, which one's the one that's dead?
Aun Va.
Right.
I
get confused.
Yeah, Space Pope is dead, and that's good.
Anyway, it might be new for pushing the ethereal class as more of an actual thing in the fluff for them. It might be like the next stepping stone for their fluff.
I do want more fluff on the ethereals, but we could talk about that all day. We should probably keep going because we're aware we're on a little bit of a time constraint here.
Yes, and we all know the ethereals are controlled by the brain worms anyway. But anyway, that's a different issue. Moving on.
Different story, different day.
Yes. What else is in the news this week?
Well, we haven't talked about 8th edition, but we've done videos on it separately, so I think we can probably...
Yeah,
we can skip that, yes.
Well, because it's still in beta testing, and they're still rewriting and testing it at all the major tournaments, which I think is amazing, by the way. Look,
all I need to do is just get the 2nd edition rulebook and just write 8th on it. There you go.
No, that would take so long. But, They were actually at a Adepticon, not only participating in the tournaments and everything, and checking out people's armies and taking pictures of them, which I think that's amazing. That Games Workshop is just like, hey, you did a good job. This looks amazing. Check this out. This is cool too. Hey, I'm gonna kick your ass in a tournament. And then they did horrible, but it was still cool to see them, actually open up to the community, take questions, and then they did beta testing. Not like the little, here's 3 dudes that you can blame for everything. It was, we opened up a table, told people these are the rule sets, and played it and asked for their feedback.
Yeah, I
New
give.
Games Workshop is amazing.
Yeah, GW have definitely done a lot of good in recent times, and I think there will hopefully come a point where we stop just shouting at. Well, we'll never stop complaining at them, but we stop just generally shitting on them. I think would be good.
Well, people always find something to shit. I mean, some people will shit on the fact that we haven't had a new Ragnar Black main model since 1993.
Yeah, there's always going to be. But as far as like, I think I was in like 6th edition, particularly when 6th edition was at its worst. It's like, GW never listens, everything's broken.
Well, that's because the last president drove the company into the ground.
Oh, I don't disagree. Yeah. I don't disagree. I'm merely saying that hopefully there will come a point where we stop doing that because GW's now listening. And it was good reading the article on Warhammer Community where it said we'd spoken to tournament organisers about what they wanted. But the main thing that stuck in my head is like reading it, like it's got a chance to work competitively. We'll see how it all drops out in the wash. But reading it as a narrative player, I was just in love with it. Like, yes.
Yeah, Games Workshop. I will give you props. Games Workshop is doing excellent.
Yeah, agreed.
Anyway, moving.
Did we all just agree on something?
I know.
What? No. There's supposed to be a long-winded joke with all of these that me and Michael secretly hate each other. Because apparently everybody thinks that.
No, we don't. I don't think anybody thinks we hate each other. It's just that we kind of know how to push each other's buttons and get each other wound up very easily.
I know, it's so much fun. All I have to say is Tau don't have their place and you like, go nuclear.
No, I
and all
just
you have
grumble
to say
quiet.
is Slaanesh is getting replaced, and I'm like, no, she isn't.
No, Slaanesh isn't getting replaced. I wish it got retconned, but it's not getting replaced.
I did a mini rant about that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I might have missed that.
But the two of them argue, and then they hate fucked.
Don't do this. People will ship me and Michael. And so far, he's the only one that I've worked with that hasn't been shipped with.
I've been young and innocent enough to get away with it. Don't start now.
Don't worry, you'll be joining the Emperor's Children soon enough.
Oh god, no! I've just written my law script for them, and I want no more to do with them.
It's narcotics, isn't it?
It's the. I'm not going there.
Narcotics and dubstep.
I could easily fly into a rant about Slaanesh and the Emperor's Children, so don't let me start. Let's move on.
Fair enough. What's next?
Is there any... I think we've covered most of the news that we can think of, unless anyone's got anything else that we've just remembered to raise.
Let's see. Last week or so, Battlefleet Gothic got updated, and so did... What is it? Dawn of... No, not Dawn of War. Left for Space Hulk got updated.
Oh, Deathwing.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. I must have missed those updates. I'm sure if
the
anything
game is actually playable now.
Hey.
Ew.
Yes.
I'm still gutted about the fact that my Rights of War playthrough had the save file corrupted and just lost all my data. It was a slog to get that far in a fucking game. Oof. I don't want to do it again.
How many parts did you lose?
Well,
I saw part 1, but
I got up to parts 11 or 12.
Oof.
Then.
Wait, go ahead. I gotta remember this.
And then it just fell apart, and that game is a fucking slog. Like a
it's
real
bad slog.
Bad slog.
Then why were you putting yourself through it?
Because I owe my fans that much. God save our gracious
Anyway,
yeah.
I did want to ask you guys this. Do you guys have a copy of Space Marine for the PC?
PC, no. Only PS.
Yes, and on the PS3 as well.
Okay, so Remleiz, would you like to join me for a game soon?
Yes, that'd be quite amusing.
Exterminatus with me and Remleiz, and 2 fans.
If I could, I would. But the problem is, my first copy of my obviously I got a new game. It'd be different because don't you still need a code to like get past level 5 in multiplayer? Because
no,
I had
not anymore.
Okay, good. Because when I got it for the PS3, my original PS3 died, it got
on
that
the
yellow light
PS3,
of death.
you actually do. On the computer, you don't.
Yeah, because I had a yellow light of death incident with my PS3, got a new one off my neighbor, and my Space Marine file, it was the same file, but I couldn't use the code again, so I was locked. So I sort of gave up with it.
Is it bad that I imagined you like getting into an XV8, attaching a burst cannon to it, flying over to your neighbor's house, kicking down the door, pointing the gun at him, and just be like, "Give me your PS3."
If I had an XV8, I'd be making a lot of use out of it. To be honest, I'd prefer an XV86 because a cold start would be bloody useful. Actually, I found out about the XV46, which is a Space Hulk battle suit. So it's kind of like the thing the Tau used for exploring Space Hulk in deep space.
Oh, that's kind of
like,
awesome.
And I'm like, there's no images for it. There's no artwork, no anything for it. But I heard about it. I was like, I want one because it comes with flamers and stuff.
I'd imagine
well.
that it's...
The funny thing would be, though, Gene Stealers would still one-shot in Space Hulk.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah, but I'm carrying twin flamers, so it's not so bad.
I can only
imagine.
imagine.
But Terminators and Space Hulk are carrying heavy flamers, so they still get one-shotted.
Yeah, but I'll quickly check with that.
You're ruining the joke, Michael. You're ruining it.
I do that a lot. Deal with it.
Yes, he does. No, but I can imagine it looks something like the XV88, where it's like nice and bulky.
It's smaller, actually. So it says it's designed to operate in the void of space. Smaller, designed to fit into tight wrecks. Most frequently armed with flamers and burst cannons and a fusion torch to cut through stuff. Sturdy but lightweight, and they often have like special drones that they deploy as well.
So
the X-11s.
It's like it's like an XV22 and an XV88 had a baby.
Without the stealth system, because
yeah. Actually, it might have the stealth system.
The 25 has the stealth system. The 22 Shadow Suns. There is actually that would be the XV4604. There's actually a commander version for it, which but it's in the Death Watch book, Ark of Lost Souls, the little supplement for Death Watch.
Soats are also in the Death Watch.
It's it's the RPG Death Watch actually, Ark of Lost Souls. It's mentioned in there.
Oh,
cool.
Yeah,
I'll definitely have to check it out.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, is there anything we want to discuss before we get on to the questions? Because I'm aware that we need to crack on, and if it's anything like usual, we'll have a zogging load of questions considering the ones that we couldn't ask Alexis last time.
74.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
right,
wait,
we need to
what were
not
some of the
have
questions that I didn't get asked?
Because you weren't there.
Well, no, what were some of them?
We basically said ask them again on this one, so they should come up in here.
Okay.
So if there's an odd amount aimed at you, then that's why. So yeah, is there anything we want to discuss before we dive in?
TTS's new episode with Kitten playing against Siege was hilarious.
That was good. I liked
it. Also, I want to point this out to people who got mad about MST negating. As a Yu-Gi-Oh! Judge, I noticed this. Tzeentch chained Exchange of the Spirit to Mystical Space Typhoon, which means that Tzeentch emptied his graveyard, so when his magical explosion went off first, there was nothing to hit in the graveyard, so it actually dealt no damage. So, I got you, Alpha.
But I have to admit, the thumbnail for episode 25 that's got the family reunion, I saw that and I was like, yes! That got very high-pitched. You didn't see the thumbnail, didn't you?
I have not yet.
It came out a while ago, you should definitely have a look at it.
I probably should.
Mm-hmm.
I know Alpha put out a little sneak peek of one of the scenes in it.
Yes.
Yes. Like, I found a pipe!
And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, let's do the
I know what that's referencing as well.
Oh. Okay. Question, on a scale of 1 to 10, what color of alphabets scream heretic the most?
Bacon.
Alright, moving on.
Good.
Question. Can I challenge one of you to a game of Paradox Billiard... Actually, can I challenge one of you to a game of Yu-Gi-Oh?
No, Hearthstone. That's what real men play.
I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In so long, I understand Hearthstone much better.
You can challenge me. I currently have 2 meta decks. 2 old meta decks. They were meta when I was still playing. But yes, you can challenge me. Question. The Raptor chapter disappeared around M36, just popped back in M38, refusing to tell anyone what they had been doing.
The Raven Guard descendants.
With a different color scheme. Battle tactics, they split up tactics, that are logical and not grimdark. Most of their weapons and equipments before then disappeared. Are they refusing to tell anyone? They are refusing to tell anyone that of their new homeworld.
That is correct.
It goes on and on.
Yeah, because I've just looked it up here. In M37, they were listed as missing in action / destroyed, and then they popped up again in a new world, in a new area at full strength in M39.
Do you know who this sounds a lot like? It sounds a lot like the Minotaurs, doesn't it? Chapter Minotaurs, they disappeared and came back later, full strength, with a brand new color scheme.
This also sounds like the Sons of Garrow. Except
They're
I'm
not
making
canon.
that up. Hey, neither are we, damn it.
No, we're not canon. We're fanon. That's the difference.
Yes. We're canon in our own universes with blackjack and hookers.
Except without the blackjack.
Oh, you calling me a hooker?
I said no such thing. You brought
Enough.
up yourself.
It's probably Michael. That's why he's getting upset.
Whatever.
I'm sorry.
Was there a point to that question, or did it just get lost? Was there actually a question in there?
Majority of the occasions. A dozen Lord Inquisitors have died or disappeared, asking them questions. What happened to them? What is the chance that the Raptors were destroyed by the Alpha Legion and replaced by sleeper agents? Thank you.
Not impossible. I mean, the Alpha Legion have quite a lot of knowledge of the Raven Guard, considering, well, what they did. But I think I don't think they'd be patient enough to wait 2,000 years before making a move.
I also don't think the Alpha Legion is as crazy as people give them credit for. I think people are going too far with the meme about them, and just assuming that
the whole
they
I
can
am Alfarius meme. That knows me.
Yeah, actually, I had a question on my last episode, which just came in like the other day, because I think two people are behind, saying, do the cultists say I am Alfarius as well? Or do the human operatives, do they run with the same thing, or do they do something else?
They do something else.
I had a feeling that's what I said.
It's a bit hard for a normal human to try and pass off as a Primarch.
That was my argument. Anyway, next question.
I've seen cosplayers that do it really well. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but.
Have you read the Foundation trilogy by Isaac? I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name. Asimov.
Oh, I know.
A lot of elements that inspired 40K.
I have not. I've heard of Asimov, or whatever his pronunciation actually is. I can't remember it right now.
Oh, didn't he have that whole lore about robotics as well?
I know the name.
Yeah, he did. I think he did. He had the 3 laws of robotics, right?
Yes.
I think so. But in answer to the question, no, I haven't.
Yeah, same here. I have not yet. What if orcs had wings? Would it be terrible or just better target practice?
If they were able to actually use them with more power, with more accuracy than a rocket pack, it would actually be quite terrifying.
What was it? Didn't Grimskull want a set of wings?
I have no idea.
I've never heard an orc talk about having wings.
Yeah, after he beats the Sisters of Battle, he had his mechs fashion him a set of wings.
Oh, Gorguts. Grimskull is
Gorguts. Thank you. I always get those two war bosses mixed up.
I haven't played Soulstorm. Would need to.
I'm only gonna ask this question because it has a lot of likes. How big is Remleiz Cyberdog?
Next question.
Too big for you.
God damn it, moving on.
Can we see a comic or animation of Remleiz and Michael challenging each other to a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! On jet bikes with Alexis as their ref? Or a prize? God damn it, why am I a prize? I could probably out-battle both of these guys.
In Yu-Gi-Oh, yes. In a game of Hearthstone, no, we don't.
You
Have
would
you
beat
actually
me
been playing
because
it?
I don't know. Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. Loser has to take Alexis home? What the fuck?
That's harsh. That's
You
harsh.
jerks.
Moving on.
Yeah, I could totally beat you in a game of Magic.
I've played one game of it.
Exactly, see, I have more experience.
Moving on.
Skitarii versus Sisters of Battle, who wins?
Basically, how close can the Sisters of Battle get? Because if they can get close enough, they might stand half a chance because they can set them on fire. The Skitarii have got better range, probably better discipline, more advanced technology, and nearly as good an armor. I mean, their bionics aren't quite as good as power armor, but they're not far off.
But you'd also need to take into account things like battlefield logistics and stuff like that as well.
Which is massively on the Skitarii side, particularly if there's a Dominus in orbit controlling them, which is the thing that does happen.
Yes.
Okay. I actually agree with that.
Alexis just admitted the sisters would lose.
Yeah, they
Wow.
would.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, no, like, the Sisters of Battle are very powerful. They usually use guardsman wave tactics, which I think is personally retarded, but that's their typical battle strategy, is to just walk at the enemy until their flamers get in the range and murder everything.
Little known fact, Zap Brannigan was an Imperial Guard commander.
Probably.
He used a wave tactic against Necrons. I knew Necrons had a preset kill limit, so I threw wave after wave of my own men at them until they shut down. They gave me this shiny medal.
God damn it. That doesn't sound out of character for a commissar either.
That is Chenkov to a T. That is just Chenkov.
Chenkov Brannigan.
Is there a limit to the origin of the Imperial Guard regiments?
A limit?
What do you mean?
Insofar as if you had an idea for a scheme or a theme for a regiment, could it exist in 40k? Yes, it's called Forging Your Own Narrative.
It's called This is a Grimdark Universe in a Sandbox. Have at it.
Well, the best part is I explained that 40k is far from a grimdark universe.
Well, yeah, but if I can come up with a character arc, you can come up with a custom chapter, and Remleiz is working on whatever the heck he wants to call his. What do you call it? Like animated story series? I don't really know what to call it. Yes, there is scope for just about anything in this universe.
Which means someone somewhere is making an entire Imperial Guard army based on Elvis impersonators.
That'd be so great.
Yeah, just looted an old Emperor's Children base and took the Sonic technology.
Yes.
Michael, you're not going to get this joke. You're going to think it's a serious question, but this is a joke question.
All right, I'm shutting up then.
Who is the Tau Emperor?
Well, being technical,
Alva.
there is.
Yeah,
there
I
actually
see.
isn't
See,
one.
I knew you were going to do
He's dead.
this.
Yeah, Anvar's dead, so there isn't one. Moving on.
No,
He was the Tau Emperor.
It was a joke on a
I know.
certain-
I knew the phrasing made me know it was joking, but
Yeah.
It's
How do
now
you pick
Farsight.
How do you pick a Space Marine Legion? I love the
Uh,
Iron Warriors, but flock to the Space Wolves. I have been trying to play a Legion that revolves around my personality. And then he describes his personality. I'm also looking for a Legion that is very, very, very aggressive. My suggestion for this? Use a Shattered Legion. You can get multiple Legions in there. It's like taking allies with 40k.
Yeah, that's one option. It depends on what. If you're trying to pick a legion that suits you as a person, then you should just read the fluff. Like, if you want, aggressive legions, you want the World Eaters, the Blood Angels, the Iron Warriors. When they were actually siege breaking and the siege was over, were extremely aggressive in hand to hand. The Space Wolves, those sorts of legions, and then just read the fluff behind the ones that fit that first trait and see which one fits you. Personally, I think the Iron Warriors are not that interesting. I don't like them that much, but
I am within, I am without.
Iron shake it all about.
You do the hokey cokey and Pertz Rabo has autism.
Wow. Anyway.
No, apparently Pertz Rabo is actually autistic.
I could see it.
He actually does have autistic traits.
Oh.
I could see it, but I wouldn't want to make that judgment.
Did not know
I
that.
don't mean that in a piss take way. I'm being legitimately serious that Perturabo does have autistic traits.
Interesting.
We should probably move on now.
How did Drago know Mortarian's real name?
The Grey Knights know everything. They've been around since before the heresy. I suspect Malkador locked it all up with them.
Yeah, I'm assuming so too. Wait, did they
call
exist before the heresy? They existed at the end of the heresy.
Yeah.
Well, you can make an argument saying they existed during the heresy in that Knights Errant stage, if the Knights Errant do end up forming the Grey Knight chapter.
Yeah,
That
basically.
being said, apparently the Grey Knights were actually intended to be the 21st Legion, according to some information that's come out.
Well, it depends. As far as... I don't know what this new information may say, but I know that there was only enough gene seeds stored on Titan to create a chapter off the original 8, and that they were created officially just before the invasion of the Sol System / the siege of the Imperial Palace, because Malkador slipped them over to Titan. So the information on the traitor Primarchs and Chaos in general will have been there, because at that point there were 3 demon Primarchs. Fulgrim had ascended, Angron had ascended, and Magnus had ascended. So I think it made sense for them to have that knowledge there.
And then Chaos invaded Titan just so he can make an Attack on Titan joke.
Anyway, how he knew his name is they did their research.
The Grey Knights have knowledge of something like over 900,000 demon true names or something like that. Something stupid like that.
Yeah, they're kind of crazy when it comes to that shit.
Well,
and plus,
it should be.
And plus, in regards to the demon Primarchs, Malkador had the list of names. Okay, so we're going to call this one David, this one Jim. I was like, no, it's Ferrus Manus and Mortarian. I was like, but I thought we were going to call him Dave.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Why does Alexis hate the Skaven? I just don't like fantasy.
Like furries.
I really just don't like the fantasy setting. I find it a little bit uninteresting. Slime Marbo versus Angron. Who would win? And then it's the scream afterwards. It's just a joke.
Is this Demon Angron or Primarch Angron?
Doesn't make a difference to the result.
Or Slave Angron?
Is it possible for the Emperor to use the psychic energy of the Astronomicon as a weapon on the Tyranids that are near its proximity? Like a big bug zapper? Actually, yes.
I would make the argument of if he could, wouldn't he have done it already?
Well,
but
currently he's trying to just hold himself together and use the damn thing to, fight off chaos, which, if you read Master of Mankind, that's not what he was doing with it.
All the Imperium needs to do is get Tigerius from the Ultramarines and plug him into the Golden Throne for 10 minutes, because, he can actually, touch minds with the Hive Mind and not go batshit insane for some reason. And just like, right, hold the warp together, Emperor, zap. There you go, job's a good one.
Did Tigerius actually accompany Guilliman? Do we know? Did Tigerius go with Guilliman to Terra?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, because I know Papa Smurf stayed behind.
Well,
but...
a lot of people, they assumed that the entire, chapter went along with them, and they didn't.
No, I know Calgar stayed, and I believe it was Sicarius led the...
Yeah, it was Sicarius and his veterans that went.
Second company, then.
I, Captain Sicarius, will sit on Daddy Smurf's lap and get told stories.
I wonder who would win in a fight, Guilliman or Canto Sicarius?
Guilliman.
No, like a straight-up duel. I honestly think
Guilliman.
I honestly... I'm going to go for Canto Sicarius.
One's a Primarch.
So you... so use the other logic. You think that... by that logic, if Sicarius can beat Guilliman, by that logic, Khan can beat Angron.
Probably.
Abaddon... non-powered up Abaddon can beat Horus.
No. See, you guys are... I'm talking a duel, not kill each other. I'm talking a simple duel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I personally think that Kenzo Sicarius, being the second best swordsman in all of Imperial records, aside from Lucius the Eternal...
who lost in a fistfight to Garviel Loken and Saul Tarvitz and Nikona Sharokin.
He was killed by by Shuriken as well.
Yeah, he lost the Tarbits, and he got killed by Shuriken. So he's not that good.
He's good enough. I personally hate his character, though.
Yeah, at least he's good to die for all I care.
Hey, girl pals!
That... Ow. that actually genuinely hurt my ears and my soul.
I do want to answer this really quickly. I personally think when the Tyranids actually come closer and closer to the Astronomicon, they're gonna realize that the strongest psychic presence is actually from the Eye of Terra instead, and they might go there. They might change their fleets and go towards the Eye of Terra, where there is an assload of more psychic energy than the Emperor can ever put out.
But at the same time, the heart of the Astronomicon is Terra itself, which is basically like a big light that's attracting a giant swarm of moths. I mean, don't forget, the main reason the Tyranids, went straight from a Crag system, Ultramar system, initially, was, exactly, because that went boom, the Tyranids went, ooh, launch, and went straight for it.
Indeed.
Yeah. That's why pretty much everything, they went straight for Sotha.
Yeah, they don't track warp energy, because they don't really affect the warp in the right way.
No, but
that's signs of life.
Yeah,
here's
here's
a thought, though. If a Gene Stealer cult can get onto a demon world, and I know this sounds weird, but without the Cadian Gate there, I think more things can come in and out of the shrinking Eye of Terror. But if they can get a Gene Stealer cult there, at least one Hive fleet might make the attempt to go there. And considering that one of the Hive fleet is coming out from under, it has the potential to go straight for the Eye of Terra.
From under? No, the Eye's in the galactic northwest. Something coming from the galactic south is not going to go anywhere near it.
No. You're thinking of... there's a Hive fleet that's actually coming out and engulfing all of it.
What, come right round the back, almost?
Yes.
Well, again, Terra's closer, but okay. I mean, I'm not going to say a Hive fleet can't make an attack run on the Eye and actually try it, but I don't think the Tyranids as a race are going to go and bomb the Eye. I just don't.
They might, just to get the knowledge of chaos to properly kill it.
Well, don't forget as well, there have been cases of Gene Stealer cults falling to chaos. I mean, a Gene Stealer Patriot that's been corrupted by chaos is called a Gene Stealer Oracle.
Yes, I think you remember you mentioning this a long time ago.
So, if those Gene Stealers have been consumed and reabsorbed anyway, then the Tyranids will already know about chaos. Because they're the first experience.
Or they might just do what they do to Ymgarls when they see them and just be like, ew.
Well, I mean, the Tyranids are full.
It's because the Ymgarls are so genetically unstable, they'll pollute the entire species. They keep that shit away from me.
Could you imagine?
They're literally walking herpes.
Could you imagine if the freaking the Inquisition and Deathwatch actually knew about that? They would actively hunt those Gene Stealers down, trank them, grind them up into freaking mush, and then fire it at the Tyranids.
Isn't that what Hellfire Shell is, essentially? Genetic mutagen.
It's
a biotoxin of some sort.
Yeah, it's a biotoxin, not
I'm pretty sure it's a mutagen, isn't it?
I would have to check.
But either way, I know Hellfire actually takes a huge amount of time to make. Like, one shell takes a year, but when you have an entire Forge World working on them, you should at least have a couple 100,000. You should also be working on something to mass produce it and fit it into a giant space cannon. Because Tyranids are weakest in space, because they can't really fly too fast.
Okay, I just looked up Hellfire rounds. Replaces the core and tip of the standard bolt round with a vial of mutagenic acid.
Okay, thank you for being correct as always.
Not as always. I'm going to argue with him. Anyway, jokes aside.
We're on a clock. Yeah, we're on a clock here.
Well, it's only been 40 minutes. We're good.
That's a lot of time.
No, but
anyway.
Just I do think that they should do some type of macro battery Hellfire rounds to actually start dealing with the Tyranid threat. And yes, I know that the Hellfire is hard to get. But I think with Call, actually, and I did say his name right, I'm not going to say he's Crawling, because a lot of people get mad at me and think I'm mispronouncing it, but I'm actually calling him Crawl on purpose. But anywho, I think Call would actually okay the mass production of Hellfire rounds to start dealing with the Tyranids. Because the Tyranids
considering Hellfire rounds were designed... considering the Hellfire Realm was made purely to combat the Tyranids, I'm pretty sure there'll be no problem to make it anyway.
The problem is it would be a one-shot, a one-use only weapon, because you could kill maybe a few ships with it, but by the time the Hive Mind by the time you killed that fleet, well, the next fleet's going to be resistant to it.
No. The main thing about the Hellfire round is Tyranids have not been able to adapt to it, and they've experienced it plenty of times.
It's because it's so unstable, the mutagen inside.
Yeah, they have not been able to adapt to it. Also, the Deathwatch will know which ship has the Norn Queen on it, and they would fire upon that ship, because they know what happens when you kill a Norn Queen. That Norn Queen ship actually attempts to mass-produce Norn Queens and fire them out. But if you corrupt the Norn Queen itself, and it fires out a bunch of corrupted Norn Queens, they would simply die. The Tyranid threat is not as... And I hate saying this, the Tyranid threat is not as bad as people make it out to be. The Tyranids can actually be farmed.
Farming Tyranids.
Well, think about it. Actually, Remleiz, you agreed with me on this. Farming Tyranid Psychers for the Golden Throne is a good idea.
I never actually agreed. I said it was theoretically possible. I never actually agreed it should be done.
Well, Remleiz, you don't agree with anything. You just say it's theoretically possible.
That's the whole point.
I know. I'm still going to argue with you, though, because that's all I do.
Bum, bum, bum.
Anyway, back to the questions. I just thought I would bring up the Tyranid threat to the galaxy.
Right, next question then.
Which of the Primarchs loyalist... I think that's supposed to be which of the loyalist Primarchs could turn into chaos? It better not be Russ.
Russ.
It would be Russ easily.
Yeah, he was angry doggy.
Yeah.
Never mind being stuck in the eye for 10,000 years. Like, Korax was bad, but Russ was worse.
Russ is going to come out and he's going to be a giant demon werewolf.
Would you make a battle report based around Yu-Gi-Oh? If so, would it be an Ultra game? Of course it would. This comes from Imperial Knight. Could the Emperor, in human form, mate with an Eldar goddess such as Isha, in her human form?
There's never been I'm going to try and answer this legitimately. There's never been a confirmed instance of the Eldar gods taking physical form. There's old Eldar myth of the gods walking amongst the Eldar. That did happen, and that's supposedly why Cain is the bloody-handed god. But I have not come across any instance of the Eldar gods taking on physical form, and on top of that, that implies, actually, no, the Eldar are technically Isha's children. Oh god, this question.
I'm going to counter you that with the avatar of Cain, because each avatar is supposed to be a shard of the fractured Kalamentria Cain when Slanesh beat the shit out of him. He got exploded and each shard took root in a craft world. And
I didn't think it was a physical shard. I thought it was like an essence of his soul.
No, it's legit physical.
I thought it was...
if you read Gathering Storm Book 3, one of the shards is actually destroyed in... When Beal-Tan dies.
And then the Incarnate comes and goes, surprise, I'm fatless!
But, surprise, I'm gonna rip out this shard, which turns into a fucking sword for no reason and destroys this Eldar craft world as well. Anyway. I personally think if Enid had a living avatar similar to that of Eandon, not Eandon. What is the dumb god's name? The new one, the god of death.
Enaid.
Similar to Enaid, human Eldar breeding is theoretically possible. Also, the Emperor is a shapeshifter, so he could turn himself into an Eldar momentarily and mate with it.
The question is, would he want to?
Why not? It's the fucking Emperor. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, but technically, since it's another species, wouldn't that technically count as bestiality?
In the Eldar's mind.
Yeah, but they share such common traits that they can interbreed.
Genestealers can interbreed with everyone as well. Doesn't mean, you should.
Genestealers do it through a different process, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, they rape you with their mouth.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
No, it's true that they got the ovipositor on their tongue.
I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just, oh God, are we really going there?
No, but I legit think that the Emperor wouldn't. I think the Emperor could, theoretically, haha, Remleiz, mate with the avatar of Isha.
The problem is, she's all holed up in Nurgle's garden, and is now probably swarming with diseases.
No, she's the god of healing. She, as far as I know, is perfectly fine.
Yeah,
Nothing gets rid of herpes.
Nurgle tests everything on Isha and sees how long it takes her to recover from it. Isha can heal anything.
Yes, but it might take a long time, so if she does get out, she might still be crawling with something.
So Big E is going to need to wear probably a small condom.
I was going to say, please don't finish that thought.
Which, at the same time, would invalidate the point completely, because he wouldn't be able to breathe with her if he's wearing a condom.
Well, no, it would have to be like a test tube.
Please? Oh, God.
Wait, would it count if he crossbred them using a test tube in a similar manner to creating the Primarchs?
It depends if a god has genetic material.
Well, we're talking about the avatar of said god. If that avatar
it depends. It depends on the avatar's genetic material, because the avatar is meant to be made out of like brass, iron, and liquid metal.
Okay, we're changing the subject now.
Yeah, but we know that living metal actually has properties similar to
not living
life.
metal, liquid metal. As
in
liquid
metal. Okay.
As in molten iron, that's glowing red hot. That's why he's immune to flamers. Because what you got to do, burn something that's on fire?
Yes. Anyway, Michael's uncomfortable. We're moving on to the next question.
Jesus Christ. Right.
No, that is a legit question.
I'm not saying it isn't a legit question. You just kept going and going and going.
It was
Questions
interesting.
for Alexis. Ooh, this will be fun. I want to get into 40k tabletop, but I love the lore and style of both World Eaters, Murder Trains, and Death Guard. I'm the Juggernaut. Which of the two would be a good start for beginners? To be honest, probably the Death Guard. They're very simplistic, and they basically just use bolters and run straight at you. They're a slow-moving train. It's very simple to learn. But in the same instance, the World Eaters are very easy to learn because all they do is charge at the opponent. Now, I am dulling down their strategies. Obviously, they use different tactics and all sorts of other things. But one's a slow-moving, unstoppable army versus a fast and hard-hitting glass hammer.
Basically, do you want to shoot him or do you want to stab him?
Now,
yeah, basically, do you want to die or do you want them? Do you want to not die or do you want them to die?
Here's the other thing that you could do. A Shattered Legion. Bring both. Create your own successor chapter and separate them and make them have both legions and use them in the ally matrix.
That bike was loud.
I'm sorry. I've been using some of spray on your models. Oh, what is the spray paint that I use on my models? It's Walmart spray paint because I am a poor bitch. Anyway. Yeah, I don't get what you mean by the third question. I'm sorry. But, yeah. Go with Ally Matrix, make your own successor, and go for it. Michael! You motherfucker. Yes. Vulcan is anything but boring.
Did I say Vulcan was boring?
Apparently
I said Vulcan.
I thought you said Jagatai was boring.
Jagatai was the one I said was boring and forgettable. Vulcan, I'm not a huge. The problem is Jagatai. I often forget he exists when I'm running down my list of Primarchs. Vulcan, I have no problem with. It's just I haven't done enough reading on him and the Salamanders yet. I'll get to it, and I might change my opinion.
Insert obligatory Vulcan lives stomp stomp reference here.
Why?
Because that's what everyone who likes Vulcan says. They always go, Vulcan lives! Stomp, stomp! Vulcan lives!
Do you think Kulgur would slowly start a scheme against Guilliman because he doesn't follow the Codex Astartes entirely?
No.
And the fact that Celestine and the others had to kill him in order to wake him up. He could be thinking that can't be Guilliman. He might be possessed by a demon. Sorcery is at work here. And Celestine and the others are... And then it just ends right there.
I find that extremely unlikely.
No, Guilliman basically walked up to Calgar and went, I'm in charge now. And Calgar was like, okay. But you do have to remember, Chapter Masters did exist in the 30k along with their Primarchs.
Yep.
All that's changed now is basically Marnius Calgar is still Chapter Master. He's just answering to someone higher in charge than him,
which basically. He was already doing.
Yeah, it's just a bit more of a direct line of succession than rather just answering to like the Adeptus Terra.
Yeah, he's now answering to his daddy.
Would you want Hayao Miyazaki to animate and or direct a Warhammer 40k or fantasy movie?
Never heard the name, I'm afraid.
Miyazaki would be better off doing a fantasy movie.
He would.
Feel.
His stuff is very anti-war.
Which would be kind of amusing for trying to do
Warhammer.
Warhammer.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't be good for Warhammer at all.
I can imagine him doing maybe like not focusing on the big battles, but maybe like a more intimate story, just basically like, what happens to the civilian population. No, not Love Blue. Fuck that. Like maybe like, a guardsman's family or something like that.
Or the aftermath.
Or like the orphans who get taken into by the black ships or something like that.
You could also set it post, let's use an obligatory example of a Xenos invasion of a hive world and how the world... Because we always see the stories of, the Space Marines come in and save the day, or the brave Imperial Guardsmen hold the line and drive the enemy back. But you never... the stories end there. Like, the furthest you ever go is like a little epilogue, which doesn't really show how the world changes or what happens to anything. So you could, if you want to try something different, try a little in the aftermath following a regiment. Like the first act is the defining part of the battle where they win the war or whatever. And then they're given the world, as does happen with regiments, and then you sort of see how it all comes together or falls apart.
Warhammer Maybe. Extreme Beach Volleyball, Warhammer Wrestling, Warhammer Guitar Hero with Noise Marines, Call of Duty Modern DACA. If you could actually get these games, would you try them?
No.
Yes.
What the hell would be in Warhammer Extreme Beach Volleyball?
I don't want
Vex.
to know.
What?
Vex versus the Sisters of Battle. No, Lilith. Yeah, that's
Moving on.
I could see that actually being kind of a neat mod for games. I would actually play the Call of Duty Orc shooter. Like, it'd probably be something similar to like.
You mean Halo Field of Duty 3?
Yes. I want to play Call of Duty.
No.
Question to Remleiz. How do you feel about Michael Bay making 14 more Transformers movies?
Oh no. Oh no. Alexis, just read another question.
Let me just answer it this way. Urge to Kill Rising.
Question for Michael.
Yes.
If the main empire is cut off via Deus Ex Warp Storm, which it was, do you think that the Enclaves will take over for Codex purposes? Also, where the hell do you find the 3D models for your Legion videos?
Okay, the 3D models for Legion videos is easy. You just go on DeviantArt and Google the Legion in question. Done. As far as if the Tau Empire is cut off,
which it is,
Farsight, which it could be, from the Enclaves, from the galaxy at large, which it was back in M35, the Enclaves, the problem the Enclaves have got as far as like establishing themselves is they're too small and they're kind of a bit cut off themselves. Like I think we've had the debate before that Farsight would be the best ally for Guilliman to go to if he wanted it, or be the better ally if Guilliman wanted an alliance on the Eastern Fringe to maybe stall the Tyranids or whatever. He'd go to Farsight, but I don't think the Enclaves could become as big as the Tau Empire without some significant help. But for Codex purposes, well, we have our own Codex for the Enclaves anyway. You could easily just import the rules over. Easy enough.
Fair enough.
Alexis, on Guardsmen Vets, or in general, Plasma versus Melta, I prefer them with meltaguns.
Plus,
Remleiz, assuming that you could do it, in a cage match to the death, Matt Ward versus CS GoTo.
Oh, well, firstly, let's make this a Hell in a Cell match.
Of course you would.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
And replace the ropes with barbed wire. There we go. Jobs are good.
Question for Alexis. If Slaanesh was purified, she can't be, or was born as an Eldar god, she is an Eldar god.
Technically.
And is extinct, exact opposite to the Slaanesh you know and love, would you still take her side? Slaanesh is too intricate and too detailed for her to be rewritten, redone, or in any way altered from the way she is now. Slaanesh just needs a new line of demons and some better fluff. That's it. Yeah. Chaos God being purified is laughable, to be honest.
At least one of the major Chaos Gods is unlikely.
Yeah.
A minor one, depends.
Question, will you be converting your own gangs for Shadow War Armageddon, or would you just use the existing armies? I'm gonna use the existing armies. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have nothing.
I'll use my Pathfinders for now. If a team distinguishes itself particularly well, I might convert a team up, but I won't do any custom stuff with them besides just appearance.
Question, Death Guard are coming. What new units do you think that will be added to the Plague Bringers? Thousand Sons are getting treated well, so do you think that they're using the same formula, i.e. new Terminators, new cannon fodder?
It'd be interesting if they end up getting, Nurgors or something.
I can see Plague Zombies becoming a proper standalone unit.
Well, I could actually see something along the lines of the Death Shrouds coming in, and maybe even the Grave Wardens.
Yeah,
and every single one's got a troll smile underneath their helmet.
I actually really like the new look. I love the giant troll mouth. Because in the fluff, they're fucking crazy. They think they're happy.
If you're happy and you know it, pop your zits.
That image will never get out of my mind now. That is disgusting.
You're welcome.
Question, if the Imperium ever achieved their goal in conquering the galaxy and wiped out the Xenos, which that was a very big if, what would they do after that? Conquer another galaxy? Also, would they have regretted and got bored after wiping out all the Xenos? The whole thing is, it was just a giant way of spreading the Emperor's plan was to weaken the Chaos Gods to actually calm them down and tame the warp.
And to reunite all the lost human colonies.
Yeah. So after that, after pushing back all of the major alien races, I think he wouldn't actually wipe out all the Eldar, because he uses their technology quite often. He'd probably learn from them before deciding the final fate of them.
Yeah, it's kind of like the question of what if the Great Crusade had actually succeeded? And I get the feeling that if the Great Crusade had actually succeeded, or if a second one or a Imperial's victory actually ever came around, it would, even if chaos were weakened and becalmed, you'd still find that you'd have to be policing the entire galaxy. So I get the feeling the Astartes would go from a conquering force to a police force and nothing else.
As well, you won't be able to get rid of every single species. I mean, let's look at the orcs. It's an infestation. Once an orc gets on a planet, that's it. That planet's contaminated. The only way you can get rid of it is usually burn the planet. And I doubt the Imperium would really want to just burn every single strategically important, machine world and hive city that produces goods for them just to get rid of a few orcs. They'll probably just treat it as an infestation and have people just use it for target practice. Like, oh, the orcs are back. Oh, let's go kill them.
Now, this one I really, really, really like. This one I've been waiting to get to. I'm surprised this one doesn't have thumbs up, likes, or loved. What kept you going over the years?
Well, I've always just been, really. What got me back into Warhammer 40,000 was the Horus Heresy novel series. That got me back into it because, we all heard about the Horus Heresy, how big an event it was, but really knew nothing about it. And then we found out, it's like going to be a novel series. We're like, oh, I'm piqued. I read it. I was like, yep, I'm back.
Yeah, for me, I've never really got out of the hobby, but what kept me in, there was a point where I was considering dropping out about 3 or 4 years ago, and funnily enough, I got back into doing this. My friend said, you should start, it's obvious you really like Warhammer, but your army's really not doing anything, you're not getting a chance to play, you're not enjoying the game, so why don't you start a YouTube channel? And I said, fuck it, all right, let's do it. And that got me going again. And then picking up the lore, actually learning the lore was probably another thing. And then once I got properly going, well, it's been nearly plain sailing from there. But yeah, this channel, actually.
Yeah, so my story is kind of depressing. So I'm not going to tell it. Let's just say...
you might have told it before, actually.
Let's just say Warhammer saved my life. And yeah, the community pulled together and helped me out quite a bit. Alright, I'm going to skip a few questions really quickly, just to go over some of the better ones. All questions are good, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
If the Lion returned, would he try to reform the dress-wearing Legion, or would he leave the successor chapters as they are?
Well, the Dark Angels today are always accused of Legion building, given how closely bound the successors are to the parent chapter, so it wouldn't be that much of a stretch to think that they could be reunited. However, actually, no, Lion doesn't know.
No.
Lion doesn't know.
In regards to the Dark Angels, aren't all the leaders, all chapter masters of the Dark Angels successors all on a big council?
Yes, they do meet in secret, not maybe regularly, but they do meet. And I know the Inquisition's not exactly fond of it.
Well,
Legion building.
The Inquisition hates the Dark Angels, and they know why. The comic actually revealed that the Dark Angels' secret is not that big of a secret.
Yeah, not to mention when, that Inquisitor got hold of Cypher at one time, then the Dark Angels decided to blow up his ship.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Inquisition wasn't too happy about that. So why did you blow up his ship? Don't know. It just happened.
Oh, yep.
Don't know.
Could Forge World do a book series for the War of the Beast? And if so, would you like a model for the Beast himself? Well, the Beast himself would actually be the size of a freaking Warhound Titan, so yes.
Was he actually? I thought it was just Primarch big, not actually Titan big.
No, he was the size of he was so big that the Imperial forces thought he was a Gargant.
Yeah, he also pushed over a Warhound.
And used a turret of a Leman Russ battle tank as a club.
That's pretty impressive, although actually I came across the Weird War, which was in more recent times, where a Weird Boy was so powerful he literally teleported a section of wall out to force a breach. He couldn't force a whole breach in this bastion, so he literally just teleported the wall away.
Of course.
Surprise!
Of course he did. The next question talks about how the Gene Stealer cult that fell to Nurgle. We've already discussed that. Do you think we could see a Pirates of the Caribbean style wedding between Greyfax and Celestine? That would be amazing.
It's not going to happen.
This is not fucking canon.
We're more likely to get Kitten and Shadow Sun at this rate.
And one of them isn't actually canon, so...
Hey, if love can bloom...
Well, actually, in fact, it depends if Kitten's actually Constantine Valder or not.
Oh, that would be a funny plot twist.
Oh my god. Okay, so this guy wrote in all orc, and his name is Wesgrad da Ita. And I love it.
Right,
so
how good
I'm
are you
gonna
at speaking orc,
I'm gonna
then?
do my best orc. Ah, good, you gits. Answered me last one. Here's another. Which Primarch got the smartest and cleverest tactic?
Yeah, you can't do that in American accent. It can't be done.
It can only be done in Cockney.
I can do it
can only be done.
in, like, my Brooklyn accent, like, just talking normally.
No.
Look,
It's got
Alexis,
to be.
It's got to be Cockney. You might be able to get away with it if you're Australian, but no, it's got to be Cockney.
I'm sorry, there are many things the American accent can do. That is not one of them. Orc is not one.
It is so. My orcs are cool.
Yes.
Alright, can we just answer the fucking question now? Right.
Orcs pushing a gift. Smack it. Swear me, mum. Whoa.
Anyway, in answer to the question about which Primarch has actually got the best
you have
tactics.
to answer this question in all orc. I want to hear this now because you
I
insulted
didn't even hear
my
what the
orc.
question was. Because the
Which Primarch has got the best? Which Primarch basically got the best tactics?
Huh.
Well,
it depends really, because each Primarch had their own different way of doing things completely.
Yeah,
I was combat styles.
I was going to go with. I think Horus was probably the biggest all-rounder, or Guilliman. Horus and Guilliman were the all-rounders, I would say.
Wasn't Lion also pretty good as well?
Yes, I think the Ultramarines had a slightly better combat record, though. In terms of, I think particularly in terms of preserving, in terms of casualties on both the military and civilian front, I think the Ultramarines were the best at keeping people alive. I think.
Fair enough.
Oh, there was an awkward silence there.
Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on questions and find a good one.
Okay.
Boop.
Boop.
Where is a good one? Are there any Space Marine chapters that demonstrate muscle mass by putting on t-shirts and tearing them off? And god damn it, I thought that was a serious question for a second.
Yes, there's the one chapter, the Hulkamaniacs. They do it. It's part of initiation.
Of course you have an answer for that.
Remleiz has an answer for everything, practically.
That's what I do.
That's how I roll.
Next question. Or as Boris Johnson would say, next question.
That's not a serious... Hang on, there's a lack of serious questions.
That's one, Michael. Did you ever see that episode of Have I Got News for You when Boris Johnson was hosting it? That was hilarious.
I probably did, but I've forgotten it. Oh god.
What would the Nids... what if the Nids ate a Primarch?
Then start running. Because
he gets Tyrant Guard 2.0, bigger, stronger, harder, faster.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you look at the Primarch sort of abilities, you get natural warp resistance, you get regeneration, very fast regeneration, you get quite often pretty prodigious psychic power. Quite frankly, if that DNA in enough numbers got into the hands of the Tyranids, and they could adapt a good amount of organisms off of it, then oh dear God.
Yeah, that's kind of terrifying. And depending on which chapter they ate, they might get... Like, if they actually got through and attacked Magnus, for instance, their psychic potential would increase.
Well, the problem is they won't be able to eat any of the demon primers because they're now warp energy.
Yeah, the one planet that I think would be the worst would be to overrun Baal. You keep them away from... Because they remember they nearly took Baal, didn't they? They were one system away. If Baal had fallen and they got it Sanguinius, then oh dear God.
Can you imagine if they ate Vulcan? Vulcan would still be regenerating inside. You will not digest me! Vulcan lives!
Bear in mind that if the perpetual gene got into the Tyranid gene pool, then...
You're all fucked.
Yeah, you're all fucked. I can't put it any better than that.
Okay. Does the Imperium still use key cards? Some planets, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Depends on the world.
Yeah, that will vary.
And that's it for the questions.
Yes, so if we did have to skip through your question just because we're on a time clock today, we apologise for that. But if you did miss the question, then please feel free to leave it on the next episode and we will try to answer it. Though bear in mind, the more serious ones generally get answered first, particularly when we're on tight time.
Yes.
Especially when Alexis isn't the one reading them. You know I'm right.
Indeed. So, rant of the week, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh. I haven't really had much chance to get annoyed about anything in the hobby. I mean, I went and played a couple of games, and I realized that playing an all Terminator and Dreadnought army at 1,000 points is extremely unfair.
No, you mean it's extremely funny.
It's not when you're on the receiving end of it.
Literally, you play Tau. You should have been fine.
We were playing 30k. I was playing my 1,000 Suns against Death Guard with 2 squads of Terminators, Callous Typhon, and 2 Contemptors.
Oh shit, son.
Yeah, that's actually a power list. I'm sorry. That's a pretty good list.
Yeah, oh shit, son, indeed. I mean, I killed 1 Dreadnought, and I killed like 1 Terminator in the entire game.
Oh jeez.
I was to be honest, I was running a list with Ahriman and his Ahriman's Cabal, so I was running too much divination. If I'd have thought better again, I'd run either telekinesis for the Mark of Tzeentch, or I'd have run biomancy, got myself some faster movement and the ability to get smite and life leech, and I'd have probably done better.
Jeez, that's pretty crazy.
It wasn't. We weren't doing it for powerless. It's for completely fluffy reason. Like he's building 2 armies. I think it's Death Guard and World Eaters, and his Death Guard is like all his Terminators and his Dreadnoughts, and his World Eaters. It was going to be originally Raven Guard, but his World Eaters, I think, is going to be more about power armor and stuff.
Gotta look out for that stuff. It's very important. Unfortunately, I kind of already said my rants.
Yeah, and I get too creeped out to try and talk about Slaanesh at any length.
I love Slaanesh.
Yeah.
You know you do.
My favorite Chaos God.
And yet you don't like Fulgrim that much anymore.
Well, I don't like Fulgrim's character yet. I gotta reread all the books and see if I still like him.
My problem with Fulgrim, I've enunciated this before. My problem with Fulgrim is when the Layer Blade killed Ferrus, it wasn't really Fulgrim. Fulgrim just basically took the easy way out. He didn't turn around and go and try and do as much damage to Horus as possible in redemption for what he'd done. He didn't do anything. He just said, "Fuck it, possess me. I can't take this shit." And I just cannot find something to sympathize with Fulgrim because his corruption.
Can you exercise a Primarch?
They tried, because in the book The Reflection Cracked, Lucius, Fabius, and others realized that something was up with Fulgrim, and they worked out he was probably possessed. I think Lucius went into the Emperor's Children's theater where a painting was, and realized that Fulgrim's soul was trapped in there, and they tried to exorcise him, but the problem was it didn't really work because Fulgrim had already switched his soul back with the demon. He'd turned the tables on the demon already, so they were actually not exercising anything. So if you can exercise in the Astartes, because they do, the Exorcist, I don't see why you couldn't exercise a Primarch.
So, for instance, if they happen to capture Magnus...
Now, the difference is Magnus is a demon. He's not possessed, he is a demon. You can't exorcise the demon from Magnus because Magnus and the demon are now one and the same. You can't...
As Fulgrim now.
Indeed, you can't try and I think you're maybe saying could you bring human Magnus or human Fulgrim back? And the answer would be no. If they were possessed, yes. If they because they're in demon form already, no.
Could you move his soul to a different body then?
His soul now belongs to Tzeentch.
Yeah, you'd have to go and hit Tzeentch in the face with your OP please nerf warp powers.
So yeah, only the Emperor would have that ability to basically return him, even if it was within the Emperor's power at all. Because he's not even a god.
And quite frankly,
a very powerful human.
If you put a Primarch soul in a non-Primarch body, like let's say a regular Astartes, I get the feeling that particularly in Magnus's case, the psychic power would just overload the body too fast. Potentially. I mean, I'm not an expert on souls and how they work and whether soul power is a thing that can overload a body if it's placed into it. But I get the feeling that unless he was able to create a new body for Magnus to put Magnus's soul into, it wouldn't work anyway.
Unless you download it into a machine body. Well, no, even the machine could be overloaded with psychic.
Don't forget, you got machinery that can be imbued with and channel psychic energies. Things like Aegis suits or hexagramic wards or
but there's a big difference though between a machine spirit and a machine soul. Like putting a soul into a machine I know the Chaos Forces can do it by literally brutalizing a demon until it goes into a machine, but I don't pretty much. But I don't believe that you can actually possess a machine with a soul. I mean, maybe you can. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I think in answer to the original question, can you exercise a Primarch? Yes, I think.
But only if you're the Emperor, potentially.
So, like, somebody like Mortarion, who is currently...
Demon.
Is he full demon?
Yep, he was transformed after the reshaping of the Plague Planet.
The only traitor Primarchs who never became demons were Comrade Kurz and Alfarius.
Isn't Alfarius dead?
Allegedly. Well,
And
Alfarius
so
is dead, but Omegon
yes.
is allegedly dead.
Yes, Alfarius is dead. Alfarius is dead.
Well,
But
for
Omegon is allegedly.
all purposes, he's gone. Like, they're not bringing him back.
But Angron, Demon of Khorne, Fulgrim, Demon of Slanesh, Manus, Demon of Tzeentch, Mortarion, Demon of Nurgle, Perturabo, Demon Undivided, Lorgar, Demon Undivided, Horus, wiped from space and time.
Yeah.
Well, his soul was shattered, so we might have avatars of Horus.
No.
Actually, hear me out on this. Hear me out on this.
Oh god, it's the first I've heard that in a while.
Yeah,
Anyway.
actually it is. Anyway. God damn it. No, but what if it, instead of the Emperor's soul, like, going around saving people, because his soul is also shattered,
Correct.
what if it was Horus trying to redeem himself?
Then what the hell is
Not
the Emperor
powerful.
doing then?
Well, same
Not powerful
thing.
enough.
It's just different things.
The thing is, a soul shard of Horus would be pathetically powerful. Even, like, I don't think Horus's soul at full power would have much on a decent sized chunk of the Emperor's soul.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, things like scathing
Horus...
death or, like, miraculous intervention. Not like Emperor class where it's just like, hey, this guy is now invincible.
Is Horus's
soul, if it was fractured into shards, would be no more powerful than a Tau soul.
And trust me, that's not a lot. It depends, basically. If
it
you
really
believe
depends on the damn writers, but yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to rule it out, but I find it very unlikely. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool.
Cool, maybe. Ever going to happen because of the plot? No.
Well, we can't say no now.
With Horus, you can.
Yes, you can.
With Horus, you can.
He was
have
wiped
a
from
walking
space
plot
and
hole.
time. What plot hole?
Cypher.
No.
Yvraine. Yvraine's a walking plot hole. Cypher's a walking Deus Ex Machina.
No, Yvraine can summon souls. She can't exactly summon the soul of something that's been wiped from existence.
I don't know. It's the god of dead. The dead.
Yes, but thing is, souls that still exist within the warp until they get eaten by a demon, and then assume when that demon gets destroyed somehow, then that soul's been released. Potentially, we don't know. But
all those souls been to the parent god. Yeah.
But the thing is, Horus' soul was wiped from existence. It's not floating it's not in the warp. It doesn't exist. It's gone. You can't channel something that's completely wiped from space and time. It's like trying to get like one spot of oxygen from 65 million years ago. No, that's long gone. That's long gone.
It's like finding a needle in a galactic-sized haystack.
Then again, I still think Horus is going to come back.
No.
A clone, maybe, but no.
No. I just read up on Fabius and his experiments. The flesh market was able to create clone Horus. The other clones were never going to work for the simple reason that the data that Omegon gave Fabius was faulty. It can't be done.
Did he make a clone Sanguinius though?
No. He attempted to create something akin to, but it was nowhere. I don't even know all the details, but it was nowhere near a clone of Sanguinius. The clones of Ferris, they had access to Ferris's head at the time and Ferris's body for a while. They could have easily cloned that. Horus, they had his body. Creating them from genetic material, they can't do. Omegon gave them bad data.
That means the only product they can create clones of are Gilliman, Johnson when he gets woken up, and Sanguinius. Yeah. They can still make clones of them free.
And the reason I say the Eldar is because they simply broke into the Imperial Palace multiple times now.
The Primarch data wasn't in the okay, it was, but then it was on Deliverance. But yeah, as far as creating Primarchs goes, it's Gilliman, Johnson, Sanguinius, or bust.
And potentially first, because Art Mechanicus meant to have, one of his heads.
I believe the Iron Hands have his head back now. And Dawn. Actually, the Imperial Fists have his hand still, technically.
High five.
Yes. So basically, the only clone you can't really make of is either Korax or Russ.
Or Vulcan.
Or Kurz.
Or any of the traitor Primarchs.
Except maybe Omegon, who might potentially still be alive.
Who might be alive, yes.
Because Gilliman said he wasn't sure it was Alpharis he killed, but that could just be a reference because, hang on, that's not him, that's his twin brother.
It would be really cool if, Magnus somehow got a secondary body of some sort, fought with his own demon, and possessed the human body.
Magnus's soul is shattered. Not by much, but it is shattered. The Crimson King, it was in the Ahriman book series. Magnus at least has two personalities. There's Demon Magnus and the Crimson King, which are two, and the Crimson King is quote unquote good Magnus. Plus there's the fragment of Magnus' soul that went into Reviel Avada. So in terms of
that was stupid.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that it wasn't stupid, but in terms of could Magnus possess another body and take himself on? Yes. But he'd never win because there's no way he could find a form powerful enough that he could A, possess, and B, power up to beat himself.
Huh. I think it'd be really cool, though. I am hopeful for the future of 40k, and I do think that weird stuff is going to happen, because we do have Gathering Storm 2 coming up.
Or whatever it's called.
I mean. The Storm coming.
Yeah. There will be another...
The Hunt.
Because it is Mortarion versus the Emperor. Versus Gilliman.
That just reminded me of something. Talking about that. Quickly, before we finish, I was talking in store on Wednesday, and the guy said to me that apparently these 8th edition changes, he's apparently heard that they're going to introduce double turn with the AOS mechanic.
No.
That was my reaction.
Anyway, with that, I think we're going to wrap this episode up.
Yes.
I think because it's getting close to time, and I don't want to hold my family up on dinner, and I'm sure everyone else has got plans.
Yep.
Indeed. So, thank you very much, everyone, for joining in and listening us this week. This has been Remleiz from 40k Theories.
This has been Michael from Tactica Imperialis.
I'm Alexis. Love you guys.
And we'll see you all again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.